Hi, I'm Jack Mardak, and I head product and marketing at a company called Mingleverse. And I was just watching a video on a company called Asana, and they're doing some really cool stuff. And in case you don't know, some of the people that came out of Facebook are behind Asana. Um, so what was really inspirational for me watching this Asana video is that I heard one of the founders of the company uh, articulating basically for the very first time to a group of people who, while enthusiastic and open-minded, didn't really know what to expect. So for those of you who don't know, Asana is a new, forgive me guys, collaboration tool. And that does it a disrespect because right away it puts things into your mind that are entirely inappropriate, that are completely wrong about what Asana is and what Asana is trying to do. And I could really relate to that because we're sort of in the same situation here at Mingleverse. So at Mingleverse, we're trying to do something completely different, right? And I spent a lot of time explaining what that is to people. Um, so I thought I'd put a little bit down on video and see if that flies. If maybe that helps to get the message out there. So our whole deal is, what if we were inventing the telephone today from scratch, given all the technology that we have and all of the resources, right? So cool, lofty undertaking. So what does that mean actually? So in order to understand where we're trying to take that, where we see that going, let's take a look at the phone as it is, right? Somewhere my iPhone is close by, but and that's a bad example. But let's think in terms of a bad example for our progenitor, which is what we're looking for here. We're looking for the ideal phone. Remember, you picked it up, had things, you called one person, right? And actually that was really cool because then that was the evolution of the phone that had been stationary in our homes. So now mobility, right? You could have it with you. People were contactable. So revolutionary, and it really kind of sucks that as a technological culture, we didn't spend a whole lot of time enjoying just cell phones, because before they evolved into something else, right? But in terms of the perfection of that model, it's with you. You have a phone number, a personal identifier. Other people have it. Sometimes people you don't wish did, but usually it works really really well, right? So that's cool, right? So let's think in terms of what some of the limitations are of that model. Right. So let's just look at the voice part because we tried to think in terms of separating voice from the other stuff. So on the voice side, pretty good, right? Hear me, hear you kind of stuff. You can with ladder models, you could add more people into the conversation so that you could talk to more than one person at the same time. But it was it just me, or did that seem to sort of get cumbersome after a while? I remember being on some conference calls when I was at IBM, and there'd be like 30 people on the call. And many were silent and whatever, and you didn't know what they were doing, and they were there. You remember having heard their voice when everybody checked into the conference call, and it was generally like this just awful dark, closed, kind of insane mind space in terms of the communication that it created. Uh, Awful. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're all going to agree with me. Thankfully, we didn't spend a lot of time as a communications culture in that phase either, right? So once you begin to want to broaden your your communication, your conversation to more than a couple of people. There's kind of a limit there in this device, right? Okay, so that's one thing. So there's kind of a limit there. What's interesting is that before the internet, the desire to talk with more than one person or with groups of people kind of took these two branches. Uh, teleconferencing in all its businessy forms, right? Whether it's a Polycom on the desk or the services that provide that. And then, interesting, there was this other branch that maybe nobody remembers, but the 900 party lines, right? So here was this idea that you could, and they of course were pay services. You could jump into this conversation situation where there were some people and you didn't know them, and you can talk, and cool things might happen. And that obviously died, and the internet, just made all of that irrelevant. But the thrust was there, right? There was this social thrust that I don't think went away. So anyway, give enter the internet, right? So what I see happening in the internet age, right, is a lot like what happened before the internet, in that it started with you talking to me, Skype, right? Skype obviously was able to expand what it does, and allow for more people and such, and they like the telephone went from this kind of social, everyone has one approach, to now it's a business tool, right? Kind of something that's used a little bit differently, more collaboration-y, more premeditated, right? Like, let's have a meeting kind of stuff, as opposed to a conversation, right? And then so lately, and this is where I think things really get interesting. The voice side of things has begun to manifest different visual aspects, right? When you say a visual phone call, everybody thinks video, see you, see me, and that's great. That's a cool model, right? That you should be able to see someone at the same time that you're talking to them. That's actually freaking awesome. So that's great, right? And I think that's a successful model. Um, and then there are other combinations of talking and, sort of, as we describe it, showing. And then these begin to kind of spread themselves out across a number of different markets, and aim towards a number of different kinds of users, both social and businessy. Things like Tiny Chat, even Chat Roulette. There's a cool one, Socialize, now on Facebook. Um, and then on the business side, you have these tools, WebEx and GoToMeeting, and these heavy installed things, and these are just dripping with that whole. They remind me a lot of the spirit. This is the form that the spirit that was in those IBM 30-person conference calls has taken in the modern age. They still feel very heavy, very clunky, very enterprisey. You would never use it for a social situation, right? Okay, so what we're doing here at Mingleverse is that we see that really there's a whole new opportunity here in terms of the availability of broadband and 4G and the ubiquity and the Wi-Fi, and cool new devices like tablets. Tablets are really really exciting to us, right? Because the tablet is now something else, even than the iPhone was. The iPhone gave us touch and interaction, but now the size of the tablet becomes more about authorship, more potentially about content creation. Great consumption device, but also, wow, what an exciting input device. So that was really exciting for us. So what we're trying to do here at Mingleverse is we're trying to fundamentally evolve communications by providing a service that will allow people to have an assortment of talking, showing, and doing collaborations with other people in a way that suits them. Some of that will be social and fun, and some of that will be businessy and productive, and value generating for the people that are involved. So I hope you'll check Mingleverse out, and give us a chance to, I hope, impress you. I think if nothing else, we've set our sights on a really really lofty goal, and thanks for your support. Please check out Mingleverse.com. Thank you.